What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Creative Process, where we are processing art, faith, and culture through a creative lens. And I have the joy of having my friend Glenda over on the podcast.
Yay.
Yeah, Glenda, I met you because actually of my sister. So
You're right.
Marcia.
We were trying to remember right now.
Yeah.
How did we meet? Church? Where?
Yeah,
You're right, your sister.
So Marcia was just like, hey, I have this friend and she's doing music and she also has a boutique, and she was just like really talking you up, and I was like, okay, that's cool. So ended up meeting you, and then we kind of built that relationship and we went to Mexico.
You did. That was the best, like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Everybody loved you. Everybody was recording and filming you. It was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that came at a very interesting time frame for me, which I'll get into later. But right now, I want to talk about just letting people understand like who you are, how your growing up was. One of the things I want to do on this podcast is just like humanize people who are doing amazing things. I think you're doing amazing things. And so like, tell people how growing up was for you.
Well, for me, I was born in Houston, Texas, but I was raised in Mexico. So that's why I still have that accent.
Yeah.
I loved it. My parents, they took us to church all the time. Mostly my mom. She was very committed to church. That's where I started learning piano, how to play the piano at the age of eight years old.
Okay.
I started singing, playing the piano, and leading worship in just the little kids, just reunions and it was amazing. I learned so much going to a small church. I learned commitment. I learned serving people. And I think that's very important when when God is calling you in leadership or serving others, serving in a ministry. I think the foundation is very, very important. So that's how I started. And then I started leading worship when I was 15 years old. We moved to the U.S. when I was, I think, in 6th grade.
Okay.
So we moved here. I went to college. I was leading worship for so many years, playing piano, singing. And then I guess I wanted to record a song, and that I started doing that a little bit. I really didn't know anything. I didn't know anybody. And honestly, I got a little scared of that. I would say, I don't know if to say industry or what, but I got a little intimidated. But that's how my career, my story started. But I feel that God took me through that path to take me what I'm doing now. Right now, I'm writing books. I just speaking in conferences and just sharing, God's word.
Yeah,
to what I do.
I love it.
Creative. I love creating things.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I admire about you. You are absolutely a creative. Like, so whether you're going to be singing or whether you're doing, the books or even your social media it's just fun to watch.
Thank you.
Even though I don't really understand everything, I got a little bit of Spanish. I'm trying to get all the things, but
especially here in San Antonio.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost a must at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, God just blessed you with creativity, but also entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Starting business and all that kind of stuff. And one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on this podcast is because I really believe that God is taking people who are ministry minded and taking them into the marketplace, right? And God is just doing some amazing things with that. And that comes with its own challenges and its own difficulties, because a mindset for a nonprofit does not work for profit, right? And so sometimes there's that mental shift. My wife and I are experiencing that mental shift right now, of just saying, okay, God, what does this look like for us in this season? We stepped out of ministry and out of church ministry and started doing this whole nonprofit thing. And now we feel like God's calling us into the for-profit space. And I think that your voice right now could be a huge encouragement to people who who are wanting to be in that for-profit space. So I really want to ask you what that was like, because you grew up in church, right? Mm-hmm. Did you always know, like, I'm going to start my own businesses, I'm going to do this and that? Like, what did that look like for you?
Well, I never thought that, but I always saw my grandmother, my dad's mom. She's an entrepreneur at heart. Mm-hmm. And then she was teaching my mom how to sell things and just, always have extra income or something. And so I watch, I always saw that from my grandmother, my mom, my dad. And honestly, like, I don't know, it was probably inside of me already, or I don't know. But I learned by seeing my parents, my grandmother. And then I think I started teaching piano lessons to other children. And that's how I started, just like planning. Then I came to the U.S. and my career is teaching as a high school teacher.
Wow.
And I quickly saw that it was, I don't know if it was for me. High school teaching, I was 21 years old, and you can imagine, like, I would be mixed with the students,
Yeah.
But I really have a passion for teaching, but I think God just put me in another, maybe not teaching in schools, but teaching somewhere, like teaching the word or teaching other things, business. I love business. And I think just watching my family first, I started wanting to do it myself as well. So I started teaching, and then I opened my store just because I said, well, what else can I do if I don't want to teach anymore and high school students? Mm-hmm. And my husband actually encouraged me a lot. And he said, you know what? Well, what do you want to do? And I said, I was very scared, because he asked me that question. And I said to myself, well, I want to do a lot of things, but I don't know if I can do it. See, and that's one of the things that you have to really, we have to know that sometimes you have to do things scared. Even though you feel scared, you just have to take action. But if we're young, sometimes we don't want to do it. We're scared. We don't want to fail. Sometimes we're saying, what are they going to say about me? What are they going to think? But one of the things I've learned is you have to do it and just take action, because life goes by so fast. And the more you fail, the more you learn. And just fail right now, and you're learning now,
Go on. Yeah, and that's so hard, because, sometimes we have this mindset of, like, failure is, it's bad, and we don't want to be bad, so we don't want to fail. Mm-hmm, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so it's just like, and it sometimes we take it very personal.
Right.
I can say that for myself, like earlier on, like I would just take failure so personal. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you feel like a failure. Like, oh, what am I was born for what? That's what I used to think.
Yeah. And so I'm talking with my daughters about some of this now. I'm like, if you fail, that doesn't make you a failure. Like, it doesn't, like, that doesn't define you. But I have to, sometimes I'm preaching to myself with that. I'm like, okay, Jarrell, like if you try this and it doesn't work, that doesn't mean that you have totally failed. I want to ask you about something, though, because I know that with Christian culture, sometimes we can look at business a certain way. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes Christians, we can look at entrepreneurs and say, oh, they're just doing that for money, or they're just doing that for this, they're just doing that for that, and they assign motives to people, and it's like, man, that's really not my heart. And it's especially if you're doing like Christian stuff, because when I first started doing like hip hop, right, there was this whole big thing about you're selling the gospel and you're doing, that whole deal.
Oh, yeah,
how do you navigate that as a businesswoman? Like, you are, and you're unashamed about your faith, right? So how do you navigate? Like, do you get that criticism sometimes?
A lot, especially in the Hispanic culture.
Yeah,
that's a lot, a lot. And so at first I would get very sad about it, and it would shake me. Like, I would ask myself, maybe it's right, maybe I should not, but how am I supposed to have an income also and pay the people that help me create everything I'm doing and publish the books and design and editing and all of those things. So I just, honestly, I had to pray about it and ask God to to work that in myself because I don't want to feel like that. And but who's gonna do it? Like really, God is calling people with creativity, with he wants to find people that he can trust with money, with talents, with time, so that they can do the things that he wants people to do. Right? We want to advance the kingdom, the gospel, and all of that requires money. All of that requires money. And how are we going to do it if we don't know how to create the money and multiply it and invest it and help others? I mean, you have to, and we need to know that that's only the vehicle. Like that's only a tool. Money is a tool. And God is just looking for people that know how to run it and multiply it and manage it, so that he can use those people to do what he wants to do around the world. And no, I mean, it's just a mindset that you have to get rid of. Honestly, that's the word. For me, it's aggressive, and I just have to get rid of it. Yeah. And I don't want it in my life, because I have an assignment by God and I want to accomplish it. And I don't want to stop my life. And time does not respect. Time goes by fast, and you have to just deliver what the calling God gave you. And time is precious. And just learn how to not listen to that. Of course, you have to do everything with cautious and love and kindness, yes, but also don't let that stop you, because it's not right?
Yeah. One of the things that I really appreciate about you and admire about you is that you seem to me to be like a very ambitious person, where you're just like, this is the goal, I'm going to reach it, and you're just going to go for it, right? But at the same time, you are a wife, you're a mom, right? And so I think a lot of times in culture right now, what we see is people do choose one or the other, right? And they say, okay, well, I'm going to go after my goal, but I don't have time for a serious relationship, marriage. I don't have time for children, because that's going to hold me back from my goal. Or they do the family thing, and then there's so many excuses about why they can't do what what they feel like God's called them to do. How do you balance those two things?
That's a great point, because it's so true. It's so true, and we see it all the time, especially in the times we're living in. We see a lot of the marriages just breaking and being attacked. But for me, this is a question that I asked myself a long time ago. What do I like? How am I going to accomplish what God asked me to do? Because it's hard, right? To be a wife, and then my children. We have to raise children. Like in this world is so hard. The influence is so terrible everywhere, and you just have to be watching your children and protecting them and teaching them, leading them. But I honestly had to have a serious conversation with God. And I said, Lord, if you really want me to accomplish all of this, just give me the grace to do everything and teach me. Holy Spirit, teach me how to do it. Because it is possible. We can do all things through Christ, right? It is possible, but there's a way to do it. And that way, the Holy Spirit, he can teach us that way. And for me, it's very important to always take care of my marriage first. My relationship with Christ first, of course, but my marriage after that, because it's I have a what's it called? I have a commitment with him, right? My husband. So to me, I had to make that decision a long time ago, and then after that, my children, before ministry, before my businesses, before my career, my professions, anything I do. To me, is so important. God, my husband, and my children. I need to take care of that. Because if I don't, then to me, I fail. And I don't want to fail God, because I really want to live what the word teaches. Not to be perfect, but to live a life that honors the Lord. I love that. I love that. And it's beautiful to live that way, right? Yes. And so that's what I strive with. To me, every time my kids go to school, but when they come back home, they see me with the thing to cook, the mandil, what's it called? The thing you put on so they see me as a mom. They see me cooking, they see me serving, they see me cleaning, they see me as a mom, right? Because that's my job for them. to serve him, my husband, my children. But when they leave to work, they go to school and everything. I do everything that I can do, writing and teaching and recording and filming and whatever I have to do, I do it when they're not there because I really want to be a good manager and of my time and my talents and everything. But everything is possible. Yeah. Everything is possible. You can do all things through Christ. You can do it. We can do it.
Yeah, and that is a lie that I believe that some women believe, is that I can't do these things. I can't do this and that. And it's like, well, maybe you can. You know what I mean?
You can, and it takes also some discipline that God can help us with, because if we get up maybe an hour or two before the time, or maybe stay a little later, you can accomplish a lot. And so just organization, to me, that's something that I asked the Lord and said, Lord, teach me how to organize my life, my time, because it's very precious. And I really want to, be a good manager of what I have and everything. So my husband's saying, you have a planner. Yeah, I'm releasing a planner very soon. So,
oh, really?
Yes.
Let's go.
I actually have it in my hands already at the house.
Wow.
And they arrive, all the pallets and the boxes. So we're releasing that very soon.
Wow. Come on. That's exciting. Yeah. I'm gonna get to some of the stuff that you're gonna be releasing, that you're working on at the end. But what I really feel, this may come out of the blue, but just on this whole relationship thing, right? Some people can't visualize how they could have a relationship, or what that would even look like. You know, sometimes people miss it, and it's right in front of them. So I want to ask you, how did you meet your husband? At what phase were you in your career at that time? What did that look like?
Well, I was 20 years old, and actually we have 20 years married. Already in May.
Come on, let's go.
20 years. I can't believe time goes by so fast.
And a 2-year-old. Talk about it.
18, 12, and 2. Okay?
Yeah.
No, it's just, God is so amazing. He's so awesome. You know, we actually met. I was gonna get married to someone else, and then that didn't work out.
This podcast just went up in ratings right there, bro. The views going crazy. Yeah. Just kidding. No, go ahead.
So I got very depressed. I was 20 years old, and then actually I think it was 21 or 22, and so super depressed. I had already finished my career, my bachelor's degree. And then I was super depressed. My brother one time, he said, Glenda, let's go to this Bible study. There's a lot of, young people. It's very awesome. So I went after he told me like a million times to go because I didn't want to go. I went and I met him. And that's where we started talking. But it happens so fast. It's so fast. Yeah. I think I told the Lord, and I said, Lord, just take whatever sadness I have, take it away. And that's when I met him, and we dated for probably like 7 months, 8 months, and we got married.
Ooh. Otto said, I'm not letting this go.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I think one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about that too is because, relationship happens in the context of community, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
definitely.
So I think it's just really interesting that you felt like isolated and alone, and your brother said, hey, come join this community. And in that place of community, that's where you found like your deepest relationship, right? Yes. And I think for creatives, a lot of times we can struggle with that. We can struggle with isolation and feeling like, again, if we feel like we're a failure, then we don't want to hang around anybody else because we think everybody else is also looking at us like that too. So I guess the reaction is to isolate and say, I don't want to hang around anybody else. But God answers our prayers and even satisfies our desires and wants in the context of community. Right? Yeah. And that's huge. I've got another question for you. Your businesses from a lot of what I can see is like revolves around kind of like even the boutique thing. You're kind of in the beauty industry, right?
moda, ¿cómo se dice? Fashion,
fashion, yeah.
all of that. It's always been, I did a study abroad in Madrid, in Spain.
Spain. Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's where it just like saw a different world to me. And I want to say something so important that sometimes we feel as creatives, we feel that we feel a little bit ashamed because we're doing something creative. And what if it doesn't look too Christian or too this and that? And I was feeling like that because I started liking, I always like fashion and music and just create things, right? And beauty and all of that. But I thought that it was because people criticize, you start feeling like, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to do that. But that's where God wants to use the unique part of your life, like the uniqueness you have,
right,
for His glory.
Yes, because
He doesn't want us replicas of everybody else. You know, He wants to use you, the unique thing you have, the talent you have, the what you have. He wants to use it. And so for so many years, I felt like I need to just stay quiet, not do what I'm doing because it doesn't look very Christian or very honoring God, but it's not. It wasn't until the Lord started speaking to my life and just telling me, you know, if you like to post something in pink and hot pink, you do it because that's your essence. That's who you are. Yes. And you don't have to look like a pastor or like this person or that person just to look Christian. No, God wants to use what you have and who you are to do what He wants to do on earth.
That's good. That's good.
And so, I've always liked that. And I think that's one of the things the Lord started using also in business because people wants to take you also to those categories in life of business and creativity and medicine and teaching and all these categories in life. And you just have to step up and do it. If God called you for that, you do it and just be obedient.
That's so good. I know criticism comes with that, right? So
a lot.
So how do you handle that criticism?
It used to affect me a lot and make me sad, depressed, and disappointed.
Yeah.
But I guess prayer helps a lot. Prayer, because you need to get assured of that calling, that if you really know in your core that God called you for that, and God called you using those things that He gave you, then you need to feel confident.
Yes.
That's the word.
Yes.
You have to walk confident of what God called you, because those people didn't call you to do that. The Lord called you. So He gave you that song. He gave you that beat. He gave you that creative thing that you have now so you can use it. And once you know that and you do it with that identity, it's different. It's going to deliver differently, right?
Yes.
And so you just have to walk in that identity. And the way we do that is by being connected to the fountain, which is God. If you seek Him with all of your heart, if you pray and just, be connected to His heart, His essence, His the rhythm of life in Him, you're not going to care of what people say. It's not going to bother you no more.
Yeah. And I really do believe like God is the ultimate creative, right? He's the ultimate creator. Yeah. And so tapping into Him is tapping into that source of creativity. Right. And I really do believe that as children of God, we should actually be the ones that are creating top quality stuff, innovation, all of that should belong to the people of God, just because we're connected to the source, I love what you're doing. What are some projects that you're working on right now?
Well, I spent about maybe about 2 years working on different things. I just released my devotional. It's called for Prayer. It's in Spanish. Wow. It's a 30-day devotional for women. It's just a call to women to go back to prayer, because that's it's very important. Prayer is super important because that's how you get to know God, hear Him, hear His voice. And it's just, I think everything comes from prayer, a relationship with Christ, with God through prayer. So I released that recently this year. And then I also worked the past 2 years in my planner. So it's a faith-based planner.
Wow. Yeah.
Very cute, very pretty. And I did it for women that really wants to get closer to God. They want to get organized in life. They want to accomplish goals, but they want to do it in faith and in fashion, in pink.
Come on.
So that one's gonna release very soon this year. And then what else? My skincare line. I have a skincare line.
Yes.
It's called Blush Beauty.
I was hoping that you were gonna say something about that.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. So tell us about the skincare line.
Yeah. I just did it because I like makeup so much, but I used to buy my makeup and I started seeing all these names, weird names, like I was like, am I buying this? It makes me uncomfortable to read this name and, things like that. So I've always liked to create things. I'm like, what if I just make a line of skincare and creams and face washes and eyeliners and lipsticks and all that. Yeah. And I started just dreaming and I couldn't, how it's like a dream from God when you can't sleep and you're just thinking about it and thinking of the song, the lyrics, the beat, or the creative thing you want to do. And I couldn't sleep. So I told my husband, I started praying and I went to a lab and they helped me do the creams and do all those things.
You just found the lab, huh?
I did. I did. And women, we're just finding things. Yes. We find it.
All right.
And so my husband, he's been such a great support in my life, honestly. In this 20 years, I've learned so much from him. And he's the one that helped me with design and creative things and websites and marketing, all of that. All of that comes from him. So I'm so thankful to God. And this line really is just reminding women that, yes, we can do business, we can serve other people, but we can do it in the love of God, like just creating things that remind us that we are loved by God. And it's a Christian line. I just say Christian. I don't know, it's just to say it, but every box has a Bible verse underneath. And just reminding us that we are beautiful in God's eyes and He loves us so much and we can do all things through Him.
Yeah. How long have you had the line?
A year.
A year?
Just a year. It's like a baby, but we have so many plans. We're already selling in North Mexico and Texas. And
really?
So I'm very, very excited for that. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're out there, go find a lab. Okay. That's the moral of the story. Go find a lab.
Go find a lab and you can.
Glenda, I am so appreciative of you and what God's doing in your life. Like, again, I'm just, I get a chance to watch and I'm so glad that we actually got a chance to connect and like go to Mexico and all that kind of stuff. I met Edja because of you and eventually I'll have her here on the podcast too. Awesome. But like, just that time for me came at a moment where I was, I had just launched from my church and gone into and so I'd just gone into like full-time music, artistry, didn't know what that was going to look like at all. And the Lord really used that to help my faith. You know what I mean? Because so I had like a couple of concerts lined up and that was a thing. And sometimes I still like look back on that and be like, okay, I know this was the Lord because of that trip, and so so it was. You're
gonna have to go back.
Yeah, we got to go back together. So we do something awesome. But yeah, just I know that you're such an encouragement to not just women, but you're an encouragement to men and women alike. And I just want to encourage you to like keep going because God's got some amazing things. And I'm glad I got a chance to meet your husband as well. He's like, for every fierce creative, you got to have that steady person in the background that's keeping everybody intact. My wife is that for me.
Yeah, and honestly, there's a lot to learn from him. He does business so well. Like I really, the Lord uses him in that area so much, and I've learned so much from him. Yes,
yeah, and so. Getting a chance to talk with him has just been incredible. And you are a power couple. You're making it happen. And so thank you for joining me on the podcast. How can people find you and everything you're doing?
Instagram, Glenda Alvarez TV, or just my website, easciende.com. Ella is ELLA, Asciende, ASCIENDE.
There you go. Well, thank you for being on.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.